Hello. Hopefully y'all can see me and hear me okay, usual bit. Cool. So if you haven't watched some of the recent live streams, it's all about using Shift to upgrade my various Laravel projects to the latest version of Laravel 9. The Laravel Shift site, though, of course, is, my main project. It's what brings in by far the most revenue for me. And because of that, I don't like to shift or upgrade right away. I typically wait a couple weeks just to, let packages catch up, let Laravel, make a few bug fix patches. It's just inevitable. We're all developers. I think Laravel does an excellent job, a better job than most other packages or frameworks out there as far as the release and educating its users and really having everything be super stable. Especially with Laravel 9, they were kind of pre-tagging things very early on. But the point is, it's software. There's always going to be a little bug or something. So because of that, I don't want to be a super early adopter with, again, something like Shift, which is my primary source of income. So I just like to wait a week or two and let everything kind of settle. And then I'm going to go in and run the shifts. So in this stream, we're going to go ahead and use Shift to upgrade Shift. And yeah, if all the tests pass and everything, I'll be merging that later today, probably off stream, but hopefully we can get this to a place where, all the tests are passing in CI and I can see it locally and all those kind of things. That would make me feel pretty confident to deploy it, either later today or first thing tomorrow morning when I have like the whole day. As another caveat, like I don't really like to deploy at the end of the day. I like to have an evening with my 16-month-old daughter, waking up potentially at various hours in the night. I'm a bit sleep deprived, so I don't want to launch something, then go to bed and I wake up to 100, emails about how Shift didn't work and a crying baby. So when I'm fresh tomorrow, I'll probably deploy this. Okay, enough rambling on. Let's run a shift. So I'm going to go down to the Laravel shift. We'll hit purchase. I'll sign in with GitHub. And this is going to be laravelshift.com, of course. And I think we're still using the master branch. And we'll do a checkout and run. And as I've mentioned before, since I have a Shifty plan, a subscription to Shift, it's not asking me to put in any credit card information. It's just included. All plans include the latest Laravel Shift, in this case, Laravel 9. So I'm just going to hit run. And that should be out here on the queue. So while that's queuing up, let's check the comments. Hey, Mohammed, Tiber, Goshan, Gurjan. Oh, I always forget. Sorry. Samuel, Daryl, how's it going, everybody? Thanks for joining live. Let's let this run. Hopefully it all passes. So hey, Owen, how's it going? So yeah, this is running. Normally, Shift probably takes less than a minute. However, the Laravel codebase, the Laravel Shift codebase, is rather large, and I have my own custom code style that it's probably applying. So this could take just a bit longer. So we'll give it a second and I'll ramble on, but should be done here pretty soon. If it's not done within a minute, I'm going to refresh the page because every now and then I've noticed Pusher drops the packet somehow. There it is. There we go. Cool. So let's open up this pull request. Everything is here in, what is that? Again, less than a minute. So just to kind of slow down and review this, I'll speed up as I go through more of these comments, but let's just kind of slow down. First of all, if you're new to Shift or you're watching this new to Shift, you get a PR that opens up on a separate branch. So you don't have to worry about Shift, auto merging or doing anything in your master branch. Notice when I was in there, I was totally comfortable saying master branch was my source branch. That's the branch that has the latest work. That's the branch that I want to use and have everything work on. So Shift creates a separate branch off of that to get the work, and then applies all of these nice atomic commits, in this case 14 different commits. So we'll kind of go through these a little bit slowly. Maybe I won't click into every single one. But to the point here, it says check out the branch, gives you nice helpful information, run composer update. If for some reason you're having some dependency issues, a lot of the times tacking on no scripts will take care of that. Make sure to clear any of your local cache that you might be doing, config, router, view, whatever, and then thoroughly test your application, which we'll see here in a minute. And some nice little marketing links here for no test or no CI, go run these other shifts that are out there. And of course, if you need some help, here I am, ready to go. Human shifts, I'll do the same thing you're watching me do here on your own project. Not publicly, of course. So let's look at these 14 commits. Pretty straightforward. Again, nice atomic commits. Try to give them all names, nice commit messages. And then some of them that maybe need more detail, they have more detail, of course, in the commit body. So you're always welcome to check those out as well. Now, quickly, one of the things that some people do is they'll jump right over here to files changed. And for large projects, maybe projects that don't have a code format or anything like that, there's hundreds of files changed here. So Shift feels really, really daunting. I put this in the Shifty Bits newsletter earlier in the week, but remember, you can always go view any of these individual commits to make them a lot more bite-sized, a lot more focused on the exact change. So all I did was just click into the individual commit of the one that I was interested in. So instead of looking at all files changed, go in and look at the commits that matter to you. Give this a quick scroll if you want, but the individual changes, that also breeds like good commit messages. Again, Shift is very curated and making these atomic commits for individual changes to kind of leave some breadcrumbs. But I think that's good practice. The Laravel community has a joke of like using whip for everything. And that's fine if you're, on a feature branch with an isolated thing. But when you do that for every commit on your master branch, that's, I don't know, that kind of just kills the whole point of Git, history. May as well just version a file 15 different times. So anyway, remember you can always do that. So remove move the resource length folder. Pretty straightforward. We actually just clicked into the rename test assertion. So I was using assert deleted. There's assert model missing now. Remove the fruitcake dependency here. So if we just go take a peek at this was actually done yesterday in Laravel 9.2, but they assimilated the handle cooers middleware into the framework now. So that actually gets done for you now by Shift. So again, I monitor all this stuff, and another reason I wait, because there's still changes going into Laravel 9. So, and Shift is pretty quick with those. I read the weekly releases, I see all this stuff, I monitor the upgrade guide and the Laravel default app, and really keep up with that. So anytime there's a change that can be automated, it happens. So now, of course, the fruitcake thing still works. That dependency, you're welcome to keep that. So it's not a big deal if you've already run Shift or whatever, but you can make that change yourself if you like. Streamline command's pretty straightforward. Replace deprecated constant, that's fine with me. Let's take a look at this upgrade to Fly System 3 though. And I'm hearing some stuff in the chat. So, all right, cool. So this just bumped the version, so that's fine. Doesn't seem like there's anything else I need to do here. Okay, so let's just close that back down. Shift core files. Let's just take a peek at this. So every Shift does this, and this is really where it just goes in and it tries to find any file that you have defaulted out of the original Laravel project when you first ran Laravel new. It's going to look at these files, and if it can reliably upgrade them, it's going to do so in this Shift core files commit. It's standard for Shift. Every Shift will do this, or every upgrade Shift will do this. And it really just goes in and tries to do the tiny things that were changed. Most of these changes are unnecessary, and as such, if it can't do it, it just kind of backs off. It shies away not to leave you a noisy commit. But for the ones that matter, they will be noted in the PR comments, which we'll see here in a second. But these changes are all pretty straightforward. Drops in the Lang Inc. file, updates my validation rules with just the latest messages and names. So that's probably the bulk of it. public index, again, things that you're probably not changing, Shift goes in and just tries to clean those up. Most of these kind of things aren't even listed in the upgrade guide because technically speaking, they're not required. But again, Shift kind of has a higher standard of making your project be as if it was always running, in this case, Laravel 9. So this is a nice little one that came from the workbench. So just kind of removes optional, but this is actually in our workbench seeder. We've already run this before, so this is actually a errant change. So let's do git fetch origin and start getting into the code now that we're seeing some things that we don't want. So I'm gonna do a git revert on this since it's the only thing in here. So that should be fine. Oh, not on master. Git fetch, or we already fetched, git checkout shift 57. All right, cool. Now let's do that git revert command. All right, all good. So we don't need to look at that anymore. But if you had those in your application, Shift would have done them for you. So let's take a peek at this. So removes, this is now guessed by Laravel, so you don't actually need this. So again, not a required change, but just removes some noise and gives you that modern factory that Laravel 9 now uses. So all that's good. Again, this task table seeder is probably not something we want to continually mess with. So I think what I'm going to do is actually do a git checkout master dash dash, whoops, not 3 dashes, dash dash that name. There we go. And let's do a git commit dash dash amend. And let's just change this to be revert revert tasks table seeder. All right, and then let's DG all that. I think it's called tasks table seeder, or just task table seeder. All right, that's going to end up having like a lot of little code snippets in it that we actually want to keep as a snippet to demonstrate the old versus the new, but Shift is actually picking those up as PHP code because of the ticks, which that would be challenging to avoid. So I'm not going to worry about it right now. All right, convert deprecated dates. So again, we're seeing all this in table seeder, which has already been reverted, so no big deal. Shift config files, similar to the Shift core files, same thing, but just keeps it separate for config, makes it easier to review. This is one that comes up a lot. So let's take a peek at this, and then I'm going to start going through the comments. This default config files, what this does is actually goes into your application, and any of the config files that aren't able to be upgraded reliably, it'll go in and effectively do like a three-way merge. It'll take your file, the old file, and Laravel. In this case, it'll take your file, Laravel 8's version, and Laravel 9's version, and kind of three-way merge those back together again, trying to keep your customizations. And just like it says in the commit body, it does this as an effort to kind of keep up with the constantly changing config files. The config files change every version. In fact, they change probably once a month. So, you know, these are always outdated, and it's really just a matter of time until one little line of configuration that's missing out of here causes your app to fail. I've seen it dozens of times. I've been hired to fix it, and they never believe me when it's an outdated config file, but it always ends up being something along those lines. So again, most of the time, this is just little changes to all those fancy doc blocks, but other times it is new bits here. So I do just want to give this a review though to make sure that Shift, again, somehow maybe didn't overwrite something that I was setting. I'm pretty good about keeping these defaults, so I know most of this is just formatting changes, which is totally fine. But again, you definitely would want to review this commit, and it's also noted in the comments down here. So everything else is pretty straightforward. Bump dependencies and Shift cleanup is really just reapplying your code style. Now, I saw in the comments, James asked, is there any way to discard any of the opinionated Laravel styling? Yes, you are in full control of the code style that's applied. In fact, if we go look in Shift, it applies my custom version of my code style here. So my customized code style, which is mostly Laravel, but maybe some of those, you know, operators, binary operator spaces, I differ on. So it's really Laravel's code style with just a couple small tweaks that I just haven't made myself get over yet. The point being, if you have PHP Fixer or PHP Code Sniffer rule set in your project, like we see right here, Shift will honor that and use that to apply. If you don't have a code style, these are pretty easy to make. There's a video on the Shift website that talks about how to set them up quickly. It has some links to some gists. I would really encourage you to set one up for your project. I appreciate that your IDE probably does it, but having it automated just makes life so much easier. So yes, you can control it, but it needs to be in an automated fashion, not kind of a manual, personal one-off kind of thing. Okay, let's start going through the comments here. And while we do, in the background, let me jump into Docker because I'm going to need PHP 8. And let's go ahead and run Composer update in the background while we're going through these comments, because this is probably going to make my iMac take off like an airplane. So, okay, Laravel 9 upgraded the fly system 3.0 behavior. So some operations are a little bit different. Most of this is pretty straightforward, to be honest. I know I probably use put to write some things to disk, and I definitely use download to download the Docker images, but if you read this closely, it says it returns a null instead of an exception. I shouldn't really have any issues of this. This seems very boundary case kind of stuff. It overwrites existing files, which I kind of would have expected it to do anyway, to be honest. Delete returns true. I'm not deleting anything, so I think all that's good to go. I'm going to delete this comment. Okay, Laravel 9 transitioned to Swift Mailer, transitioned from Swift Mailer to Symfony Mailer. So, depending on which one you're using, if Shift can't figure it out, you kind of get this somewhat generic comment here. Now, in my case, I actually am using Mailgun Mailer, so I will want to run this when Composer is in a better place. Grab cable Markdown. So it looks like Markdown's a little off. We'll fix that here in just a second. Let's do this with, just to get those in there real quick. All right. I just kind of killed Composer to make that get into place there. So I think this is going to be good. I'll leave this comment. Let's just do a thumbs up for now. Okay, file system driver has been renamed to file system disk. So let's just see if I'm referencing file system driver anywhere in the whole application. It does not appear that I am. So that should be good. So we can I like to delete them to make it nice and easy. So again, we reviewed the upgraded config file, but again, this was that message that said, hey, we merged some of your files together. Make sure to review this commit. If we just totally botched that three-way merge, here is the git command, the actual git command you can run for your project to revert those changes. So again, I'm cool with them, but again, Shift gives you kind of a way out. Okay, so file system cloud got removed in a later version of Laravel 8. So again, one of the big things about Laravel 9 is, yeah, it's a maintenance release to align with Symfony 6, but there are 17 months of changes that happened in Laravel 8, plus the new stuff in Laravel 9, and adopting PHP 8. So again, as we saw, 14 commits that came across by Shift. So there's a lot of stuff going on here, but this is actually an example of something that did change in 8, but it's in the Laravel 9 Shift. So I don't think I'm using this anywhere. Again, Shift left this. It left this in here for me, but I don't believe I'm using S3 anywhere. Let's find out. Oh, I am using X. Okay. So this is why it kept it. And this is why I'm getting this message, is that, you have some additional places where S3 and so forth was found. So I think because of that, Shift did not remove this. So what they want you to do is configure your own disk. So really what I should do down here is make like an S3 disk instead of relying on that cloud one to automatically build it for me. So it's all kind of set up anyway, so I don't think there's a reason for me to actually keep this, because again, I'm not using this cloud disk directly. So I'm going to go ahead and remove it, and we'll just put a little checkbox there. The token API authentication. Okay, yes, I actually do need to keep the original token auth. So I think that ends up getting removed if I remember right. Yeah, so we're going to want to keep that. Updated my dependencies, all good. Let's get rid of that. We're going to go through those in a minute. I don't think I'm using the HTTP client in too many places, but again, this timeout, lowering the timeout is actually a good thing, so I'm totally cool with that. I'll make sure to do, it's part of my deploy process to do view clear, and I've already run a lot of these other things already, so that's all good. Congratulations, Jay. Okay, so let's start fixing some of these problems here. Let's start by getting Composer to run. So what's wrong with Markdown? I'm sure that's compatible. Graham's normally on point with this kind of stuff. Let's see here. Any recent tags? No recent tags, in fact. Very strange. Got a question for Laravel 9 support. Crazy. I can confirm that the v14 branch works fine for my application. Okay. Confirmed, thanks. It worked. Okay. So let's borrow this. Some people are saying it worked. So let's just borrow this constraint to see if we can get a little farther. So let's go here. And where is Graham? Should be in alphabetical order. There it is. So let's just pop that in there. And let's try another Composer update. Check the chat. We are using style CI. Cool. Yeah, if you're using style CI, then when Shift gets done running, style CI should just reapply your code style. So good to go. Adrian, hey, what's up, man? All right, what did I break now? Mail Coach, yes, Mail Coach is going to be the biggest one I have to mess with, but Frake told me the other day that version 5, I think, is what's compatible with 9, so there's going to be more work to do there, but let's see if, again, we can just get Composer running so I can start pushing up changes and let the CI start working. So let's see if this gets a little farther. Oh, almost. Mailgun feedback probably needs to be, that probably needs to be bumped. So let's go check Spassy Mail Coach. I think he sent me the link already. Let's see what we need to do in their upgrade guide. So 5, upgrading. All right. So we're going to need a migration. That's easy enough. Jobs is no longer job batches. Okay, you should set the automated mailer value. Okay, that's fine. So we're going to need to do some of these things for sure. Let's just see what they say about the mailgun. They unfortunately don't say anything about the mailgun. Mailgun. There we go. Maybe they say which one in here. Using Mailgun in a standalone app. Is there like 3.0? I think we're already on 3.0. So that's, documentation's a little off. I'm gonna go on a limb here and put 4 and see what happens. Let's see if that somehow magically works. If not, let's go out to the repo and see what they actually tagged. It can't be 3 because that constraint would have picked it up. So let's see what they've tagged. Yeah, they did tag 4.0. So they should probably upgrade their upgrade guide to properly get that. Okay, here we go. Great. We got past the Composer errors. So short of Graham's package, everything else Shift bumped for us, which is awesome. It actually, I'm noticing now, it bumped cashier, which I probably don't want. But it is compatible, which is nice. So I might kick that back down to 12 though. So we'll see. because I know it has its own stuff. So I will need to do the spaCy bit here, but I shouldn't have too many tests where I'm actually sending mail. So I'm gonna leave that on the back burner for maybe an off-stream update. But again, I'll really just go back to their upgrade guide and, you know, just do what it says here. I'm gonna copy over this, you know, database schema. I'll run through these a little bit more and upgrade the config file. So that should be all fine. What I want to do is push this composer update to GitHub, see if that gets me a little farther with the tests, my test suite, and we'll continue going through the comments on the PR for any other kind of manual review type steps. So let's give this just another minute to finish. We'll see how the tests do, but again, I'll probably bump cashier back down by hand here in a second. So it's thinking about generating those optimized load files. There we go. Almost there. All right, let's go check those comments while we're waiting. Okay, so that should be fine. I do want this token driver. If you were using the token driver, you may re-add it. Okay, I do want that back. So we need to go get the original stuff here. But real quick, git add composer star, git commit -m, composer update, git add -u, git commit -m, remove cloud driver, I guess. Git push origin head. Let's go up here and look at these shift config files to get that token bit back. I thought it was in here, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's in the default version. Am I not using the token driver? I thought it had to be configured. It's actually still, it's still in here, but it's not listed. I thought you had to have it in here. I'm confusing myself now. Let's go out to Laravel, and let's go way back to like 7, where I know that this is in here. So they have the token driver, of course, still in here. Providers. I thought it had like its own setup, but I guess not. So I don't think there's anything I need to do there, actually. It still keeps my API bit, which is using token. It's not documented anymore. So it's probably something I should look into in the future. But the long story short, I think this will still work. So shift didn't actually break anything. It's kind of just warning us that you may need to re-add it. Yeah, which I didn't have to. So better safe than sorry, I suppose, on that comment, but it actually didn't apply to me. Okay, the loop variable is no longer available when iterating over a lazy collection, which I know I don't use any of those like by default, but let's just go take a peek at how I'm using the loop variable in here. So loop first over errors. I really doubt errors is a lazy collection, so that should probably be fine. So I'm going to say that one's fine. Let's go take a peek at this one. Next, so we got show. Let's find loop. So build last run repository with details. I'm sure this is a custom collection given its name. So I think that's, again, probably not a lazy collection. So I think we're going to be okay there. The alert blade, I'm not even going to check because I know it relates to blade, and same with the errors view. I know that does as well. Or well, what is error index? What is... Oh, we have like this little knowledge base. I don't even think we link to this anymore, but yeah, it loops over errors. Again, this is going to be something coming back from Eloquent, which wouldn't be a lazy collection by default. So I think all those are good. I'll leave them checked. All right, what's next here? We're still failing. Let's start seeing why we're failing our test. Whoa, so many failures. is that so many failures, or is this? Show display, league common mark, block render interface. Not found. Okay, so it seems like the league has their own upgrade stuff. Am I referencing that directly? I'm not even referencing this directly. What would be failing there? Oh, it's Torchlight. Torchlight is broken. Let's see. Maybe they're not compatible with V14 yet, or maybe they have their own version bump that. 5.4, ability to set multiple themes. Let's see their change log. Huh. All right. Let's go back to Composer. Running V5.2. So 5.4 should be the latest. Why didn't we get 5.4? Let's explicitly bump that, and since we're going to need to run Composer again, I'm actually going to downgrade this at this time to 217, which is apparently what I was on based on what I remember from reading those jumps that Composer outputs. So let's try this one more time. Composer update. Let's see if 5.4 is somehow compatible. If not, this may be a bit of a blocker. We might have to ask Aaron what's going on. Okay, Torchlight requires Torchlight Laravel 5. Torchlight common mark requires satisfiable by Torchlight. Only one of these can be installed. Cannot coexist. Do I have multiple Torchlight things in here? I shouldn't. Torchlight common mark. Maybe I shouldn't be using common mark. Torchlight common mark requires Torchlight Laravel. Satisfiable, but then those views, those get all weird. Illuminate view. So I guess one of these requires like an old illuminate. Let's see what's going on here. This requires Torchlight Laravel and League Common Mark 2.0. I feel like all this common mark stuff, I don't know why we have Graham's common mark, to be honest. See, this is the one that's requires the other stuff. And it's all 9 compatible, which is fine. 5.11. Let's go back. 10 days ago. Oh wait, I'm still on. Let's go back to, so V5.10. So they pushed that up and they support 8 and they support Common Mark 2, which should be fine. Don't install Laravel V9 conflict analysis result. Torchlight Laravel requires illuminate view. See, this is untrue. That's untrue. It actually, did they tag that with 11 or was it 10? There is 5.11. What changed in 5.11? 5.11 has support for, okay. So this package, this Torchlight package has a hard constraint for V5.10, not above V10. So this package is not compatible with Laravel 9, despite, or well, they never said it was compatible in fairness. Okay, so that's the problem. This needs to be Laravel 9 compatible. Here we go. Somebody's got an update constraint. Cool. So I think what we'll try to do is let's borrow this, I guess. That's not going to work. Let's do this. Is he on Telegram? I don't know if Aaron's on Telegram or not. He's not. Let's get on Twitter. Let's get on Twitter and tell him. All right, where are you? Aaron. I know we've chatted. There you are. Hey, can you merge or fix this when you get a minute? There we go. All right, so he's aware. In the meantime, we are stuck because I won't be able to fix that torchlight bug. So technically, the previous version apparently was compatible from a composer perspective, but its underlying dependencies are off, which is really weird. I don't know how that didn't work, but maybe this 0.5, maybe early versions of 0.5 in CommonMark didn't require that Laravel package. That's probably what it was. So instead of going through all of that, we'll just kind of see what's happening there. So cool. Okay, so there's probably a way to hack around that if you really wanted in Composer. You could install the other version of that and like alias it as 0.510, or I could map the repository to this other guy's branch. But I think what I'm really going to do is probably stop the stream here. What time is it? I got a few minutes. Let's see here. I'm probably going to stop the stream here, and yeah, I don't think it's worth it to try to set this up. I know this main branch is going to cause a bit of an issue, so yeah, we'll just wait. I'm sure Aaron will merge this probably by the end of the day, so I think that's fine. And I think in the meantime, it'll allow me to get through this SPASI upgrade guide. So I think we'll pause it there. I will post on Twitter once this is released. But yeah, I mean, again, from a shift perspective, this shifted everything fine. We're now, unfortunately, in the all too common land, no matter how you upgrade, of having dependency issues, which again, going back to the very beginning, is why I normally like to wait a couple weeks. So some of these, non 1.0 kind of packages, just maybe don't get the attention like some of the other, commercial packages that are out there, SPASI, Cashier, all that kind of stuff, first-party packages. So let that be a warning to you not to use so many packages, because, for every one package that you have in here, there's another upgrade path. So that's the other thing I will do, is go through this and see why I have Graham's Markdown as well as the common mark that comes from Torchlight and yada yada. So maybe they need each other somehow. I don't remember, but I'm going to get to the bottom of that too. So anyway, unfortunately, we won't be able to see those tests pass. Sorry about that. But, thanks again for joining live. And again, I'll post on Twitter. I'm sure Aaron will post on Twitter when all that's compatible. And we'll go from there. Thanks again. See you next time.